Hello everyone and welcome to Davines Education Live. We are in Veck Atelier, so enjoy everyone.
Okay, so, oops. All right. Good evening, everyone. Delighted to share a little bit of time with you tonight. So we are on Davines Live Education and I'm Anne Veck. So before I carry on and tell you a little bit about this, what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, I'd like to introduce you to Sylvain, who's my colleague, but also is kindly doing the recording for me. So,
hello everyone.
Okay, so today I'm going to share with you a hairstyle I did for one of my collection called Silhouette. So Sylvain, if you want to show the computer. Okay, so this was done for in 2016, a collection called Silhouette. Today's it's probably my most successful collection. I won numerous awards with it, and so I'll just show you how I came to do that style. So the next slide is my practice, because nothing happened by chance on photo shoot, and I practice. So this look there, it's me using the model's head. On this one there, I sort of pulled the texture, but actually decided I didn't really like it because it was too messy. And then the next slide is how I really had the idea from the stitching on a piece of leather to actually contrast the color.
So that is your inspiration right now?
That's right. So this is actually a very simple plaiting technique, which I've used many times over the years through my work. So I either make it simple and I get a commercial idea, or make it a bit more complicated, like what I'm doing now, and get a little bit how I prep the hair for this look. So first of all, I crimped the whole head using a micro crimper. I really like the micro crimping because it gives me the right texture without making the hair obviously crimped. Prior to crimping, I used a medium hold hairspray. And it's very important to use a workable hairspray. So what I do is I spray the hair everywhere, and then I brush it and I do it again. So depending on the hair type I'm working with, whether it's fine hair or coarse hair or whatever, I could do this layering maybe 2 or 3 times. And that gives me the right tackiness to the hair to be able to manipulate the hair. So, the other prep, I did a little scalp plait here, which run all the way across the head, and I'm using that scalp plait to anchor the cotton I'm using. The cotton I'm using, it's a thread which is sort of like kind of wax, and it looks a bit leathery. So it's a very repetitive technique. So, and like anything in avant-garde, you've got to, what makes it look stunning, it's usually the repetition and the consistency of your technique. Okay, so another thing to be mindful when you do that is I started my section are just all pointed like this, and if I just lift this section for you, you can see that the section is curving like that, just following the shape of the head.
Hello from everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Expressionist from Madrid. We are very glad that you're looking at us.
I'm honored.
And hi to Ina, Julie, Alexian, everyone, thank you very much for following us. We are very excited, to be fair.
So I really would like to thank Davines for giving me the opportunity to share my passion with you tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, because I'm quite new to the Davines community, so most of you don't really know me. I've been hairdressing many, many years. Let's say it's 25 years plus that. But I'm still enjoying it today, which is good. I've started to be involved in more education and creative work when I opened my own salon 25 years ago. Today I'm in a really nice situation because I share my days with working on shoot and show and also salon work. I'm still very much involved in the salon life. I spend about 3 days within the salon and still really enjoying it. Sylvain, do you want to come a bit closer maybe to show what I'm doing? So the first section on this technique is the hardest because this is where I'm picking up the section. Now I'm actually picking up the same sectioning and just literally putting it in the piece of leather there and twisting. Okay, I'm holding the twist here because it's quite important that I keep the tension going within the work. Okay, like so. What you've got to be mindful as well is because my sections are curving and as I'm moving down in my work, I'm having to add a few sections like what I'm doing now. So I'm adding this section to it. Okay, and then now I'm picking up the one above. Okay. So very often when it comes to avant-garde work, what's really make an interesting image, it's the repetition of a technique and the consistency of the section you're taking. I can't say that enough. It really is very often be a plaiting technique, a knotting technique or whatever, is the consistency and the repeat of a technique which usually make it very an interesting.
Why did you start avant-garde?
I started avant-garde work really a little bit by by chance. I'm a bit of a hyperactive person, so it was very much of an escape for me to get involved in intricate hair pieces like plaiting and so on. It sort of calmed me down a bit and forced me to slow down. So and then I became almost a victim of my own success because my first collection was shortlisted, and then when you become successful with something, you then have to come out with the goods, sort of thing.
How did you feel when you won the first competition?
Well, when I was shortlisted the first time, I think it was 2007. I was gobsmacked, really. I didn't think. I think they must have made a mistake. But yeah, it was pretty amazing.
What advice would you do? Would you say to a new hairdresser who want to start hairdressing career? What you recommend to them?
I'd say don't start with avant-garde though. Learn the basic first, because really you can't run before you can walk. So learn your basic. Learn things like finger wave, pin curl, setting, blow drying. You need to really be in control of the hair and not the other way around.
Practice again and practice and practice.
Yes, exactly.
Education is very, very important.
Certainly. In fact, in hairdressing, we really, this is an always changing world. We have new product on the market all the time, new technique. So, of course, you have to educate. And now we have a lot of tools to educate ourselves. I mean, the social media is great. And if you can educate yourself on the social media, so can your client. So it's really, really important to be ahead of your game, because you don't want your client to come in the salon and be more knowledgeable than you are. Sylvain, do you want to come a bit
Yes,
closer?
absolutely.
Because I'm just coming to the end of my row here. So again, I'm just taking this section. Okay.
So you need to be very passionate to do the avant-garde because, as you said, it's very repetitive.
To hair extension.
Sorry for the connection. Sometimes it's not working properly, but I hope you saw everything.
And
if it's not the case, just let us know.
Okay.
Thank you very much for feedbacks.
Oh, what sort of feedback do we get? Come on, tell me. Share with
Very
me.
excited people. They say that it's fantastic, that they want to learn how to do that, and I think most of them would be happy to come masterclass.
Oh, cool. Good, good, good. So, just making sure you tug the section so that this lying nice and flat. So to just for speed tonight, I pre-section my work, and as I pointed out earlier on, yeah, the section are curving like this. So let me show you the next row.
So just a question. Sorry, Toria, I saw your question. So this sectioning ring is designed by a French, English-French designer, jewelry, whose name is Dirty French Girl.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to show it. I'm sorry, I was absorbed.
So check her out on Instagram. This is a really cool tool. We work together, this designer and me.
For collaboration, right?
That's right. We did a collaboration, and she designed 3 pieces. So she designed the section ring. This one is really good. Anybody with long hair will relate to this.
It's very original.
And this is one with a magnet where you can put the grips.
Very helpful.
That's
so don't hesitate to visit Instagram, Dirty French Girl.
Okay, Sylvain, if you can come back here. So I'm about to start another row now. And this is probably the only tricky part of this technique. I've got to make sure that I'm starting my row on the previous loop of my previous row. So that, like that, is giving me a really neat beginning. And I'm always coming back in this curved, like so. I've noticed that whenever I do any kind of plaiting technique, or it always look more pleasing to the eye to have a pointy section or a curved section. Always look nicer. Oops, hang on, sorry. Like this.
So how you make yourself busy during this lockdown and this craziness right now?
Well, yeah, I kept very busy, in fact. But I have to say, at the beginning of the lockdown, I really appreciated the slowing down of it. It's probably the first time in my career that I stopped. So I actually enjoyed it. And we're just given the gift of time, which is amazing. So I've been, doing a lot of hair work, trying to find new ideas for show and shoot. But I've also tried to be very healthy. So I've exercised a lot, eating quite healthily, and try to enjoy myself.
Exercise, practice hair, workout as well for yourself.
Exactly.
Which keeps you healthy. It's very important because hairdressing is very difficult.
Hairdressing is very physical, so you need to be in pretty good shape if you want to withdraw the long day. And I have to say, I've reopened the appointment book. Within 48 hours, we had about 350 emails to deal with. So I think we'll be very busy when we get back to work. Sylvain, do you want to come back close there so we can just show? So we, similar to what I was doing earlier on, I'm keeping the tension quite tight, picking up the same section. Okay. like so. Now as I'm coming close to the head, I make sure I pick up some hair from that section I've just done. One thing you've got to be mindful with this technique is I've got to make sure that my twisting, my plait here, is flush with my section. I don't want to be dragging the section either that way or that way. I want to be able to stay in line.
Superwoman, you've been called.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So if you have questions, if we don't have the opportunity to answer to every questions, don't worry. We will take a note of everything and we can answer just after that or later on. So don't worry.
Yeah, we'll be reading the question and replying them. So, Sylvain, do you want to have a scan the room a little bit?
Yes, very excited.
Right. So this here is my atelier. So it's a small room on the side of my house, and this is where I do all my creative work. Often people ask me about creativity and how I get my ideas and how, you know, I become creative. I really think that everybody can be creative and everything can be learned. You just have to put yourself in the right frame of mind and in the right place. So for me, in order to be creative, I need to have time. I can't be creative if I've got 1 hour to spare. I need time to waste time, if that makes sense.
I have a question. Sorry, Han.
Yes.
Ina asked us to show the image of how you interpreted this look for commercial bridal look.
Oh, yes, sure.
So at the first time, commercial is the key to go on avant-garde, right?
Yes, for me, avant-garde, I always start with very simple commercial ideas. For one particular reason, if I make it too complicated, I just can't remember how I did it and I can't recreate it. But let me share with you the image of... Right, okay. So this is the commercial image. Okay, so it's difficult to see there, but I can explain.
I hope you can see everyone.
Okay, so if you come back on the dolly there, I'll just... So for this look, I took a section from ear to ear, and it was the model's head I used. I didn't add any piece of string or ribbon or whatever. And I pulled the hair sort of that way. So this twist created a little bit like an Alice band. When I prepped the hair, I crimped the roots and I curled the end. So when you create that hairstyle, it's really good because it ticks all the boxes for the bride. I'm able to give softness at the front because I can pull the hair. I've got a half up, half down, which usually bride absolutely love. They've got their curls. And it's got some sort of a plait, which again, I get asked to do very often. So you can see I'm quite mindful here of keeping my section quite clean.
So you're going to do this row, and I assume that we've got a surprise and then that. I can wait to show that. Yeah, it's a surprise, but I can wait to share with you. This is actually fantastic.
Right, okay, so keep going. Again, I'm adding some section because the head is curving. I'm having to add a little bit of sectioning.
Can you tell us a bit about art? How are you defining that?
How do I define art? That's a very good question. I often wondered myself, why do we need art and what is art? So I came across a really good quote, which I want to share with you. So, creativity generates art, art spawn culture, and culture foster evolution. And I think this is really true. It really resonates with me. If you think about it, every culture has art. You ask children all over the world, you give them a piece of paper and a pen, and they will be creative. They will let their imagination run free. And really is what we leave behind, really. What's left of other culture is usually art. So I think that's why we need art, really, and creativity.
So we need to keep our inner child to be creative, right?
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. I do think that also creativity force you to think out of the box and basically to solve problem. And I think as a business owner, as a salon owner, I have to solve problem on a daily basis. So actually being creative really hopefully makes me a better problem solver.
Thank you very much, Anne. Samantha, she asking us if we can be able to show us this technique using just the hair and not the string. Is that possible? So I'm gonna answer to you. I think you will confirm, Anne. I think she's using these techniques to show how to melt different texture with the hair, and at the same time with something more organic, and it can define more the texture. Why? Is it right what I'm saying?
Yes.
For sure, you can do it just with hair.
Yes, I could do it with just hair. I don't know whether I'll have. Maybe I'll try. If I've got time, I will show you with the different dolly just to use the model's hair. But you have to come on a masterclass, and I'll show you.
Yeah, we can't reveal every secret.
So
Not
again,
right now.
Sylvain, if you
Yes.
come closer, because that's the end of the row again. All right, so. Okay.
It's like you're sewing.
It is exactly like sewing. In fact, I call this hairstyle the stitch because it really is like a stitch. And I saw this technique a long time ago, actually, on a picture, and I just couldn't work out how it was done. And I even tried to put the hair through a sewing machine. Right, okay, sorry, bear with me. I just need to, that's it. Okay, so these little tools are really, really useful to me. Little things you use for a hair extension. I think it's the micro ring. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and share with you what happened on the shoot. So when I came to create that hairstyle, this didn't happen by chance on the day. I practice a lot, so I'll just show you again my how I came to this look. Okay, so that was me trying with the model's head, experimenting with different texture, pulling the hair through, leaving it like this, then contrasting the colors. So then, oops, sorry, that was not the one I wanted to show you, but anyway, never mind. This is what happened on a shoot. Basically, magic happens. So, Silva, if you come back to the dolly, when we were doing on the shoot, I was working with the colleagues, so we were doing both sides at the same time. And it does take quite a while, this technique. So the model needed to stretch her legs and, just needed to stand up. So she stood up and she went like this, just flicked her hair. And wow, that was a real wow moment. We didn't plan to do this shoot, but when I saw this, and the photographer was with me, I worked with a very talented photographer called Desmond Murray. And Desmond is actually also a hairdresser, so he definitely has a vision for image and hair at the same time. And we both stopped and thought, okay, let's put the model in front of the camera. A little bit of wind, and literally magic happened.
So you mean that collaboration is essential to create the best image you can provide, right?
Totally. Just my work on his own is not enough. I need the photographer, I need the model, the makeup artist. Everybody has a role to play. And when you're working, when you prepare, you have to use the mood board cleverly and share your ideas with the whole team, so you can make sure that on the day everybody's on the same.
It's all about addition, talent, right?
Exactly. So let me show you this other technique. This the other side. Sorry.
I think they're all excited. So you have a hello from Greece, hello from Mexico,
Hello. Oh my
hello
God.
from Madrid,
Oh,
hello
so
from France,
international.
from everywhere.
So this is the other side finished. Okay. So I'm just going to show you how I finished this technique. On the day of the shoot, my model, if you could see on the screen, had really, really long hair. So it did take us quite a while. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a little bit of wire and I'm going to thread it through the first thing there. Right.
South Africa as well, hello.
Oh, wow, hello. And I'm going to be plaiting
Philippine.
this together. So
Everybody can see properly?
so it's literally a case of taking the hair as I go along, taking the piece of hair and just finishing it with the plait, yeah? But I've got to make sure my plait is staying quite close to the fabric I've created with the hair. Okay. So my body position is quite important. I'm really making sure I'm behind and I'm not dragging that section.
So it's literally art.
Yes, of
Can we
course.
talk about art? How can you define art? Because it's all over, everywhere around us, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's we're lucky these days because we are bombarded with images, like in Instagram and so on. So it's very, very easy to get inspiration for what we do. And I think really it's all about being open-minded and be open to differences. I think difference is brilliant. We really don't want to be all in the same mold.
It's the right time to talk about differences because we need difference, I think, in this world to create fantastic, right?
Definitely. So if you just come
Yes.
close, I'm really trying to keep that plait as close as possible to the fabric I've created. I think avant-garde, for me, when I think of avant-garde, I create avant-garde in two steps. First of all, I try to create a texture with the hair. So be a plaiting technique, a knotting technique, or knitting. I have been known to knit hair. Yes, I'm that sad. And then once I've got that texture, I've got to incorporate it on the model's hair. Sometimes, because often people ask me, how do I choose my model? So it really depends what I want to do. Sometimes I need a model with no hair because I've worked on the wig. Or sometimes I need the model hair just to create a structure in order to incorporate the hairpiece. In this particular style, in fact, this was my first time of doing avant-garde work using the model's hair, sorry. That was a very interesting challenge because I'd never done that before. I'd always done avant-garde with hair pieces, and of course the challenge is on the day of the shoot you are short of time, and that takes time. So preparation was really, really important for this because once I worked out the technique, I had to teach it to my colleague who were going to help me on the day of the shoot.
It's all about challenge all the time.
Definitely.
And renew.
Renew, challenge.
Get out of the comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's what we're living in when we're walking in a salon. I think it's the same feeling. We need to try different techniques and adapt to every kind of hair, and customers'
Yeah.
expectation. This is the beauty of our industry, I think.
Certainly, absolutely, can't agree more. Right, so I'm coming to the end there of this plait.
So it's very, you manipulate literally the new texture you created.
Exactly, I've created a fabric with the hair, and now I can manipulate it. Bear with me, I need to find a little rubber band. Okay.
I feel very lucky to be in your atelier because this is your.
Not many people are welcome in that room. This is definitely my room, my dollies. When my kids were little, they weren't allowed to play with them. Okay, so I just used the wire because that really helped me to manipulate this, like so. So on the day of the shoot, I created a hat, sort of. I've put it that way around, like this, and also the back of the hairstyle there. If I just turn around the dolly, it's obviously a little bit messy with all this. Don't worry too much about it. This was a shoot. I probably tied it up a little bit, but not too much. I didn't worry too much about it because I knew you couldn't see it.
It's amazing because I had just had a question about Ina. She said that she would like to have information about how practicing in advance makes you safe during the shoot if your mind gets too nervous.
Yes, I really I practice more. On the day of the shoot, I can be quite nervous, especially if I'm in a driving seat. If it's my shoot, people will come to me. The makeup artist will come to me and ask me questions. The photographer will want me on set. So I need to have practiced so much that I can put my hand on automatic pilot. They do the work, and my head can panic. It's okay, but my hands will work.
Are you changing your mind when you want to create your image like final? It's difficult to say final because I think it's never completely finished, right?
It's a very good question, this one. You've got to have prepared even more, but you also need to be open mind to magic happen, like this picture.
I'm going to show you again if I can.
That wasn't planned on the day of the shoot, but it happened. We saw it. The model, as I say, flicked her hair, and that really created an awesome image.
It's fantastic.
So this fabric you see here, I could, on the day of the shoot, I used it that way, but I could definitely put it more this kind of way with maybe a little bit of padding through it, and I would get something totally different.
Unlimited shapes you can create with the texture, like it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you to people are really happy that you can share that with us.
Okay.
They're very amazed.
So this technique I've used many times in lots of different ways. So I'll show you the more commercial way. I'll just share with you, Silva, if you can show that piece of wood there. So
this is absolutely art. I hope everyone is seeing that.
So this is done in the same way that I twisted the hair, but this time, so if you just come on the dolly there, this time the section which are here on the dolly, they were a wooden stick. And with these, if you can come on the computer, and I'll just show the two image I've created.
Oh, I recognize the sticks you used, right? Is it the same piece, right?
Yes, it is. It's exactly this is the same piece, which is like the dream catcher, really.
Oh, I can see another piece here. Very excited.
Right. Okay.
Can you explain about that?
Sure. So I showed you the technique on the dolly with very small section. So this time, sorry, I'm gonna have to be here. So
yes, absolutely fine.
Across. I'm gonna show it to you. So I prepared a piece like a ponytail. Okay, and this time the sectioning are going to be much bigger, but it's the same idea. I'm twisting. Hang on, sorry.
All the team of Veck Oxford are watching you.
Ooh!
And they're very, very proud.
Oh, cool.
I
Hi, guys.
share this feeling with them because it's a lot of emotion, to be fair.
Where's my ring? Hang on. Okay, so.
Thank you, James. Breathtaking, yeah.
So really similar idea. So I started with, I don't know how many sections, let's say 10. And as I move down, I've split those 10 sections. So I'm going to end up with a piece which fanning, like so.
It's still repetition.
It's
practice,
still the repetition.
Consistency all the time.
Oh, sorry, let me just get
Don't be sorry.
section properly.
This is alive, everything in real time.
So I'll just show you how I turn around as well. Okay.
So I think travel as well helped you a lot to be inspired by everything around you, right?
Definitely. Absolutely. I was really lucky the beginning of the year. I did a beautiful trip in January in Sri Lanka, and it was fantastic. The colors, the market were beautiful. Yes, it was really nice. So just want you to show here, when I come at the end of a row, how I turn around. So I do this. I've got to really push that section, first of all, forward, just to make sure that it's all quite tight, like so. And then I literally come back the other way around. When you want to, if you want to get into plaiting and braiding, you really have to teach yourself to work with both hands. Dexterity. And it comes with practice, believe me. So I've just, turn the other way around. Okay. Okay. Like so. So you can carry on like that. So I'll show you now with this in mind, with this technique in mind. Let me show you a finish piece. Let's take this one there. Okay.
So I have a reminder from Ina, who said that you can join and enjoying Veck techniques every Wednesday at 8 CEST on Davines Education.
So this, you can see, is this way, the same, like so, but it was a much longer pieces. So I plaited it on one end to make the fringe, but then on the other side, I made this piece there. This is 3 pieces together. So I did the technique. I then left the hair loose and I repeated the technique in the nape. And this really enabled me to, I then placed it on another wig, a bob, and creating the shape with it, with a bit of padding underneath and the loose hair, just create that shape. I haven't actually used that piece yet on photographic shoot. Hopefully when the lockdown is over, I will. I know by experience that is going to look awesome in pictures. With a little bit of wind, we will get an amazing hairstyle. With the same idea of what I've just showed you, I'll show you another take on it. So, finished ponytail, the same, exactly the same, but this is the model's hair, well, the dolly head.
And I can see you have different texture as well on the side. What product did you use to slick the side like that? It's fantastic.
So I used the Stronghold gel cream on the side to really slick the style. Remember earlier on I said that everything looked nice when you started with a a point, a triangle, is much more pleasing to the eye. To make the crête at the top there, so my first section is the model's hair, using the stitching technique. The second row, I basically combined it with strings. So this and played with the color. So the second row is the string, then is the model hair, then is the string, model hair, and it creates that sort of shape like that, a little bit like a shark. I think it looks pretty awesome. Love it.
This
Okay.
is amazing.
And
Thank you.
often I leave a little bit of hair flying around like this. A bit of wind on shoot always look good. And I think you can make the mistake of sometimes creating a texture with hair, and the hair doesn't look like hair anymore. It looks like a fabric. So which is why I always like to have a little bit of hair left like that. So it is hair I'm working with.
This is very nice. I hope you're enjoying all this fantastic work from Han.
So let me show you some other work done with the same technique, but where it's the same kind of stitch, but it's a different take on it. So this one,
This is impressive. Can you show us the piece quickly, just to
yes,
have a
sure, just to end on
excitement? Yeah.
on an excitement. So this is the piece here. So this one is actually two piece. Let me just turn it around. I've taken the weft of hair, so if you can bring the camera here.
Yes.
And I glue it together, making a crown, and then I used red hair, which I thread through it. I did my stitching, and then I've used another wig, and then some padding and put on it. So,
Is it one of your collection or show you did?
yeah, so I did a shoot with the model, the picture you see there, but I also presented this for the hairdressing charity event. last year.
Alternative air show, right?
No, not the alternative hair show, the hairdressing benevolent dinner.
Okay.
And the word we were given was love. We had to interpret love with hair. So I showed that piece, but then I just put it like this and created a heart with it.
This is amazing.
Definitely.
So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this almost 1 hour. I can't see the time's going. It's too exciting. So I think we can see each other again next Wednesday, Han, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well,
So-
thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Davines, for the opportunity to share my passion with you all. And yes, I'll be with you next Wednesday, same time. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys, and see you soon. Thank you very much.